Hello. Hello, Pierre. Hello,
Yes, hello,
everybody.
everyone.
We are on live. Yeah. How's everything going? It's quite late for you in Shanghai.
It's okay. It's okay.
By the way, nice background. I also have my background with the Tmall cat. Great. I see the audience is still getting in. Maybe we should wait still 2 minutes more.
Sure.
Sure. No, normally they will arrive around 4 or a little bit 5 minutes past 4. I see. I see some of our clients are there, some old friends. Hello, everybody. Hello, Adrian. Yeah, super nice to see everybody again. Hello, Andrew. Great. So we have people from different time zone. I see from New York, from Paris, from Shanghai, from Barcelona. Welcome. So first, thanks a lot for everybody spending this 1 hour with us. Just for somebody who maybe don't know us, I would like to have a very brief introduction about iBLUE and myself, and then we will directly go deep dive into decoding our festival marketing. So everybody, I'm Danny. It's my pleasure to having all of you here. Let's start from iBLUE. We are the first Chinese creative agency with a global network. iBLUE started in Shanghai 8 years ago, and 4 years ago, we expand our organization into West. Our mission is really to connect West and East, provide a China marketing solution for brands headquarters. I would say we have a very special way of working, which is a Silk Road mode. As you can see, whenever we work together, we have a Europe team here and we have a Shanghai team, which my partner in Pierre is there connecting with us. So thanks for the talents and the organization we have. We have two strong forces. One is China market insights with our consulting service. Another is really the insight-driven creative for China market campaigns by understanding the different stakeholder needs from headquarters to region to local market. So upon the next slides, I will present today myself and Pierre will share this 1 hour session with all of you. A little bit background about myself. I spent my first decades of a career in Shanghai, where I was leading the digital projects in Piaget Richemont Group and Chanel. Since 4 years ago, I moved to Europe, starting to work with brand headquarters for China market. And I'm very happy to welcome Pierre. Hello, Pierre. Maybe you give a brief introduction about yourself.
Everyone, just a quick word about myself. I'm based in Shanghai at iBLUE headquarters. I'm here as a brand director and the lead of the creative strategy here in Shanghai, creating the bridge between the European office and our Shanghai headquarters. And I work very closely with Danny on specific campaigns, including major KCPs like 618, Double 11, that we're going to deep dive in just a second.
Yeah. So before we share today's agenda, I would like to share a quote from our group CEO. Double 11 is the nationwide shopping festival for consumer. However, for brands, it is the exam of the year. What means like if you want to have a good score in the final exam, it is not a one-day effort. It is a long-term hard working for brand building, for you building the product efficacy to attract the consumer and also the service. So this is a context, like a vision, how we see the Double 11 or the festival marketing. And moving to the next slide. Today, we're gonna mainly dive in the first two parts. First is the industry trends. We're gonna introduce the e-commerce platform evolution in beauty category and also consumer insights. And then for the part two, which is quite interesting, we collect a few best case study and we do some observation tips for our clients and for all the audience to decode how to win the Double 11 from product, from the campaign thematic, or from the marketing. Then the part three, we will leave it behind. Please don't hesitate to click handouts here on your right side. If you click the handouts, you can download the full PDF version. And in the PDF version, you have the full case study about more than 10 brands covering skincare, makeup, and fragrance, about the Double 11 campaign thematic and the key activation. These are all including the part three. So let's start for the first part.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start with a few industry trends. Before I deep dive, we're trying to make this session as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, just go ahead, drop us a message in the chat. We have our team monitoring the questions, and we're hopefully be able to answer you in real time. So without further ado, just gonna go ahead and jump right in it. So if we look at it from a scale side, I mean, W11 is the largest shopping festival of the planet and generated nearly $85 billion last month. So just to give you a sense of comparison, it's only 10 times the US Black Friday. So this is a festival that brings together 900 million Chinese consumers. So it's more than half of the country, and about 290,000 brands, among which a quarter are joining for the first time. So we see the growth is slowing down a little bit this year in comparison to last year, but the festival still reached an all-time high, and this is due to a few factors, like the penetration in lower tier cities, where spendings in rural area increased from 25% since last year, and also the fact that the festival is much more inclusive to some communities this year, with highlights on green products or even senior citizens, just to give you a few examples. Now, jumping into the next slides, this year was the 13th anniversary of W11. It's come a long way. It has evolved from a one-day shopping festival to a 2 weeks festivity full of events, entertainment, and parallel online shopping experience, with another 10 days of pre-sales before that. So in total, this is a month-long festival that the brands are going for. So it's a real marathon to activate the right sales triggers with the right offer through the right channels with the right content. So this is a lot for brands to digest. And for those who wonder about the pre-sales phase, pre-sales it allows for more diversity in discounts, with more time for consumers to decide whether they want the products, or with less pressure on the clock. So it's also interesting to notice that consumers between 18 and 35, so basically Gen Z and millennials, they accounted for 70% of the pre-sales period. And on the brand side, pre-sales are also helpful, to lessen the burden of the logistics and inventory management, also to forecast and monitor their sales with longer sitting periods. Also, one thing worth mentioning, for luxury brands or for high-end brand, they're cautious about over discounting. So diversity in discounts allows more high-end brands to participate with different levels of discounts without appearing too aggressive on the pricing strategy. Now, up next, this year, there's been some updates on the national anti-monopoly guidelines, which allowed merchants to expand their presence across multi-platforms. As a result, brands have become less reliant on the traditional e-commerce giants like Tmall or JD, although they, of course, represent still a two-thirds of the market. But the brands have established multi-platform and omni-channel ecosystem with a combination of public and private domain marketing strategies. So this explains how increasingly fragmented the market outlook is, and Douyin and Kuaishou exploding through live streaming and their own boutique on their platform. And also, an important thing on the consumer side, W11 is much more than hunting for deals, like Black Friday in the West. In China, consumers they want. I mean, the consumers want much more. It's an occasion full of entertainment, full of discoveries, and to some extent, a drive for positive social impact. And a lot of this is driven through contents that they can find across the whole array of available content platforms. And most of those platforms also have their own boutique. So this also explains why it's so fragmented. So up
Yeah.
next, we're gonna see a few trends about the beauty category evolution. Danny, perhaps you wanna jump in?
Yeah, sure, sure. I would like to add one more point about the platform evolution. As you see, the e-commerce, mainly the conversions happening on Tmall or JD. However, the whole game of the Double 11 is really on the multi-platforms, like you're gonna see it on the Red, on the Douyin. That's why you see the faster growing of the GMV on the Douyin, because it's transforming from a social content platform into a social commerce platform. So the line between social and e-commerce are blurred. So you can go to Tmall and enjoy the social content, and you go to social content platform and enjoy the buying. So in the future, we also see, and some survey, brands are willing to invest more on more social commerce platform. And this is something we, as a brand and marketer, we need to notice in different phasing of the campaign, where we should spending our marketing dollar. Okay, let's have a brief view of industry trends. We start to have a look of what are the top category selling on Tmall in terms of biggest of the GMV. So the first one is household appliance and the mobile communication and the clothing accessories. And then beauty, personal care is ranking number 4. Even it's number 4, but it's still very big considering you have the mobile and the clothing is more necessary, and the beauty sector is a sector steadily grows in the overall sector. If we look into the right side of this slide, we find we have some interesting finding, which is other faster growing category. For example, cat dry food, it is like a 500% growth. It is also not only in cat dry food, but also all the pets industry, the pets related accessories, a fast growing sector. Professional running shoes is growing more than 100%. Museum collaborated products, classic Chinese brand collaborated products. All these make us have a think again, like during the Double 11 or during the whole economy, like Chinese consumption, what kind of trend we are observing here. So basically, we see they are looking for better life quality through the new category of buying, and also more authentic forms of companionship and entertainment. And they are looking more for self-consciousness and all the product related to self-consciousness and pamper themselves. There is also, we see the more interested in the culture related products. Now, what is interesting is let's move into the beauty sector. We made a ranking of the top 10 brands. So this session, we break into skincare, makeup, and fragrance. So the first part, we're gonna look into skincare rankings. 3 years in a row from 2019 until this year, we observe like the top brands still remain very strong. L'Oréal Paris, Estee Lauder, Lancome, OLAY, these are the players always competing the top position. And there is a few changing here we can see. First, we were in the past 2 years, many brands come to say, okay, look, the Chinese brand, the C Beauty are rising up so fast. We feel it's threatening. In the skincare sector, it's true that from 2019 they are really strong. There are 3. By the way, the color in blue are the Chinese beauty brands, and the color in red meaning the newcomers, like they are jumping into the top 10 list as a newcomer. So you will see Winona is the only C brand keeps the position here in the top 10 ranking, and it's keep growing. And then later we're going to share with you why this brand works quite well. But we actually, through the ranking, you might feel, okay, the C brand is losing the game. However, it's just the top 10. If we look into the whole year sales, not just the Double 11, the C brand still has a significant volume of sales. So be careful as well. And then if we look into the brands in terms of who are the luxury brands, who are more like a mass brands, you will see from 2019 still half of the brands are top luxury, like Estee Lauder, Lancome, and half of the brands more like a mass. And then in 2021, the ranking completely changed. You will find Elena Rubinstein, La Mer, these are very high price range. They are ranking the number 10, the top 10. However, the more like mass, I would say, for example, OLAY, they are not in the luxury position. They are dropping, they are losing from the number 3 to number 7. So interestingly, we can see also Chinese consumer, in terms of choosing the skincare brand, they care about the brand equity. They care about if the brand is really high end and with strong science support. And also during the Double 11, it's a time they can benefit with a better discount. So the more luxury brand, the more higher price discount they can benefit. And what is interesting is this year, Elena Rubinstein and La Mer get into the top 10 list. And the main movement of them is really to give exclusive one-off offer and join the live streaming room of the top like Li Jiaqi and Wei Ya. So this is how those live streamers help the brand to complete a significant % of their sales on the Double 11. Then if we look into the makeup brands ranking, so congratulations for YSL. They are number 1 this year, and you can see it is from number 10 in 2019, ranking until number 7 last year, and this year they're number 1. Then the top brands are still remain very strong as the international big brands like Estee Lauder and the 3CE. The Chinese sea beauty brands like Perfect Diary, they were ranking number 1 in the past 2 years. This year, they are dropping to number 4. So our observation is the consumer, they want to buy products, new products or new brands. And the ones the freshness is past, like they will go back to the brand has a long-term equity and has a better product, etc., etc. That's why you will see there is ups and downs of the international brands, but at the end they will remain in the good ranking position if their product really strong. If we look into the next slide, it's a fragrance perfume brands. So for the first year, fragrance has been separated as an individual sector. That's why we have the tracking of the ranking, because in the past 2 years, the volume is more. So the ranking was merged, fragrance and makeup all together. So this year, they are independent. There is independent ranking. We see overall the category has grown by 31%. Especially if you look into the niche brands, fragrance, the growth rate is even higher. And apart from the big luxury brands like Chanel, Dior, you will find Jo Malone, Diptyque, Byredo. Those niche brands are super popular and keep rising up in terms of sales, in terms of ranking. And some interesting finding about the main category about this year we found, which is the whole men's sector, skincare and the makeup are growing. And especially for the subcategory of the men's makeup has a very huge percentage, like amazing growth. For example, Pressed Pounder, it's like 6,800% of growth. eyeshadow for 100 plus grows and makeup remover. So it's more like the this market we should focus. And I see many men's skincare brands is investing more and doing more activity in China. It's true that the market has a great potential, and it's not because because the base is small. And now, before, the men in China in the skincare routine, they use a cleanser and a cream. That's it. And now they are getting more and more sophisticated. They need more products to complete the skincare routine. And before, there might be tier 1 city of men who is using the products to do more self-caring. But now the tier 2, tier 3, more and more group. So the overall potential is so huge on the men's category. Okay, now let's have a look of the consumer insights. I pass to Pierre.
Yes, we prepared a few slides on what to keep in mind about your consumers. So, I mean, actually, if we look at who actually buy during Double 11, we see that nearly half of them are Gen Z or millennials, and the Gen Z, I mean the post 2000s, have increased by 25% since last year. So this type of consumers have very specific consumption triggers, whether it is about the values that they carry, their interests, their hobbies, the way they express themselves, the way they consume and share content. So brands really need to adapt to those new codes and tailor their marketing effort to reach out to them by speaking their language, or leveraging their favorite platforms and favorite content format. And I saw a question in the chat regarding IP collaboration, and this is also the reason why more and more brands are doing IP that are super young, super trendy, is definitely to hype up the product towards this new segment of consumers. Um, on the next, yes. So the big question for a lot of consumers is, how do I even know what to buy on the biggest shopping occasion of the year? And what's interesting is when we look at the data, it's really interesting to see that consumers are much more rational than before when they buy, and much less impulsive, which means that brands needs to be fighting to get into their shopping list before the first day of the sales. And this means that ahead of the heat of the campaign, long haul work of loyalty program, of brand education, of product education needs to be carefully handled by the brands. And this education, this product or brand education ahead of the festival goes through multiple tactics. So although the main one is through influencer seeding, of course. So more than 2/3 of the consumers still agree that seeding has a significant impact in their purchasing decision, and this can go through KOL tutorials or tips, seeding, that type of things. Basically, having influencers doing the fastidious work of RTB versus price comparison for them. Although through brand live streams, of course, that are very fast way to drive conversion because of their entertaining nature. Now the live stream is not anymore about having a big KOL speaking to you and selling it. It's you can think of it almost like a live TV show with performances, entertainment, etc. Especially during Double 11, where brands really put a lot of effort into it. Also gamification through mini programs, mini games, H5 pages, either on WeChat, either on Tmall directly. So this can get really the brand a long way into the decision making process of conversion. And so, I mean, even beyond the creative thematic of the campaign, brands should see the activation plan as a priority and see how all the elements I just mentioned will articulate themselves during the pre-sales and during the D-Day.
Mm.
And one last insight I'd like to share with you pretty much goes back to what I mentioned earlier about the performance of the festival slowing down in comparison to the previous year. And there are some factors that are distracting consumers from purchasing during Double 11. This is mainly due to how overcrowded the landscape of e-commerce festivals have become. If you look at the span of 1 year, pretty much every month have its own dedicated festival, whether it's Chinese New Year, whether it's Valentine's Day, Chinese Valentine's Day, 520, Women's Day, etc. And on top of this, you even have the Tmall IP festivals like the Tmall Super Brand Day, the Category Day, etc. So almost every month, consumers have the chance to enjoy special offers, discounts, coupons, and they won't necessarily wait until Double 11 to purchase what they need. This is why it's important also to create this atmosphere of excitement to attract eyeballs towards the festival offer. And one more thing is how popular live stream have become, both on the brand side and influencer side. So the promotions like discounts or coupons are not exclusive to Double 11 anymore. And also one last thing worth mentioning is that we observed consumers getting increasingly confused on how complicated the promotional schemes have become throughout the campaign, and they're having a hard time comparing value for money, etc., which in some cases hindered the performance as well. So, Danny, unless you want to add something about this
Mm,
topic, this pretty much wraps up the consumer insight part, and we'll be happy to
yeah,
answer
yeah,
your question in the chat, of course.
yeah, sure. We're gonna discuss more in the section later on the how to win. So we're gonna give you some example to answer those insights, like how brand react based on those background, the context change, etc. So up to next slide, we would like to share some observation and the tips regarding how a brand can do a successful festival campaign through the product, through the thematic, and through the marketing method. And the first one we would like to talk about is the product. You know, we often ask ourselves, why would a consumer want to buy our key product during the Double 11? While every month there is an e-commerce festival, there is live streaming room to offer you good price for all year long, and we need to give a strong reason for them to vote for our brands during this kind of festival season. The answer will not be only about the offer, promotion, discount. It's just too basic, or sometimes it's contradictory for a luxury brand's image, like you cannot do discount too much. So it's all about the driving the product excitement during those festival campaign. So once we identify our key products, the work is on how we bring the freshness and the newest in terms of offering, in terms of service, in terms of packaging, in terms of IP collaboration or GWP, or even re-innovate the hero product or new product, etc. So we have one case to share, which is about the Winona. They are really talking about the hero products and follow their consistency product education during the whole campaign. To give you a very quick background, Winona is a brand from China, and it's the only Chinese brand ranking the top 10 and keep growing. The sales volume is very huge. They claim themselves as a medical background brands backed up with 60 domestic and international dermatologists. They have the heritage about unique Chinese ingredients, and which is easy for consumer to remember. And they're also very sharp in the positioning, supported by very strong science communication. Focus on the sensitive skin, because once you talk about my product is fit for sensitive skin, means it fits for all. It's building up the trust. And that they have non-stop endorsement with the dermatologist, scientists, etc., etc. And in terms of the sales channel, which is quite smart, you will find them everywhere. We're not talking about online, offline, this kind of social channel. It's about the real physically, they are entering top tier city to lower tier towns, and they are in clinics and in hospital and in many T2M stores, like pharmacy stores in China version. So this is the background of this brand. And let's have a look of what they did on Double 11. Basically, very simple, straightforward. They didn't put a lot of marketing effort in those fancy celebrity or eventing. They only talk about one thing, which is product efficacy. So you will find the Double 11 is like a more than 1 month and a half campaign. It's quite long actually. So before consumer buying it, we want to enter into their shopping list. So many brands advance their communication to do the product seeding, like almost starting from mid of September or October, and then they run like 1.5 months until Double 11, talking about the product benefit. So this is exactly what Winona is doing. And by doing it, they not only talk about the end benefit on the skin, they talk about the principle, the science behind, like why it works on the skin. So just to give you a background, like a Chinese audience, they are extremely knowledgeable about the skincare products. They can analyze which ingredients associate which end benefit on the skin. So professional. Let's say, in other words, by telling them what your product can provide is not enough at all. You need to explain them deeply why it works, which technology you are using, which ingredient special you are using. So this is all the work during the whole Double 11 Winona is doing, but they are doing it in a more dynamic way, in a fun way. So they invited dermatologists to give you free consultancy online and offline. And they open a class called the Sensitive Skin Masterclass in the live stream room. So they live stream every day, invite a different celebrity and expert to talk about it. So this is how they focus on the product education, product seeding during the whole Double 11 campaign. Let's have a look of other cases, like how brands bring the freshness and the newness. The first case I would like to share is about the YSL. If you can look the video here. You don't have sound, it's fine. You can have a vibe and look about their innovative product. So the strategy of them is drive the newest with innovative product. This is a lipstick printer. You can customize the color you want and generate huge buzz online. Once consumer attracted, and they will convert. But not only on this new product, but also on more the hero products. And on another side, apart from building the new innovative product to drive the excitement, the brand has always on seeding. So they build the tribe of YSL woman, YSL girl, what they should be, not only about the lipstick, but the transforming a lifestyle people want to go. And this is how I would say through the past 3 years, they are ranking from number 10 into number 1 for this year, with like 60 million sales during the one campaign. It's quite impressive. And then the second case about the freshness, actually it's an iBLUE case. Very interestingly, you will find, like Pierre mentioned earlier, the IP collaboration is still something we'll engage with Gen Z. Later, it's a question what kind of IP brand would work with. Is it more ACG culture or more metaverse in the future, or collaborate with a fashion brand or whatever? So it's a question about the brand tonality. But the cool thing is all this IP collaboration will inject the newest and recruit extended clients, your audience but also reinvent the product excitement. So in the case of uemura, they work with Hello Kitty, and they transform this Hello Kitty into a disco party dancing kitty, which is cool. And it's not only on the packaging, they do it with the Hello Kitty visual, but they transfer the whole excitement from the product into online experience, like mini game, for example. If you can have a look in the middle, there is 2 gamification design brand did. One is Hello Kitty dancing, interactive. So consumer, it's on Tmall, and another is for Asia, like a non-China market, but the Asia in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, in all the other regions of China. And this experience give consumer a very immersive feeling. So from the product, for the landing page, for the gaming, and even for the offline, it's quite consistent. So this kind of freshness is very interesting to see how from one icon it expanded to cover the full consumer journey. Then if we look into the second chapter about the thematic, it's really hard to give a principle like which theme to go because each brand are different. The biggest challenge when headquarters want to find a concept is really to balance what brand identity and tonality globally we want to achieve, while it has to be relevant for local insights and the local consumers' needs or platform. We would say a very powerful creative thematic resonating with consumer is super important by capturing their relevancy of China. The relevance is in terms of meeting the moment of consumer. So the moment when like 618 or Double 11, consumer have a mindset of looking for the good deal. For example, in the other festival marketing, while in the Valentine's Day, they are more looking for the gifting, buying to the couple. And for some occasion, like a Christmas, they are looking to pampering themselves, like rewarding themselves. So each moment of the festival, consumer has different status of mind when they are looking for the products to buy. This is important for us to remember as a base. And later, it's also relevancy matching to the right culture, also meeting the platform needs, like Tmall thematic or JD thematic. Every year there is different thematic they will vote for. And of course, you know, in China, the Double 11, you have two search of buying, and it's such a long time. One set of assets is not enough. It's not because of the volume, it's more because of the format of assets also. So you're gonna combine it with hero video content plus more socialized short video to be used on Douyin, the social platform. You're gonna need a nicely beautiful product pack shot plus with product in situation, in scenario relevant with consumers' daily life. And you probably also need a celebrity beautiful video, but celebrity also very down to earth, doing the unboxing, engage with the audience. So it's all about the ecosystem, about how headquarters can develop a thematic and having enough different dynamic assets to sustain such a long period of campaign and meeting different platform needs. And one thing to be remembered is consistency on the visual universe. Then we have a few.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think the broadcast of the screen is not activate, or maybe it's just on my side. Should we double check? Sorry about this.
Moment. Let's. Can you share? Yes.
Now?
No. Oh yes. Now it comes back. So we try our best to give some thematic angle. It's very, very top line. It's just to share some ideas. Like for the skincare, it's important to focus on the product efficacy. As we know, Chinese consumer are more rational, they're more critical by all the product they buy. So the kind of a part of product efficacy content and thematic should be considered. Maybe it's not the first tier of the theme of the whole campaign, but at least we need to consider to have some secondary assets to support these needs and create a very luxury atmosphere for self-pampering during Double 11. For the makeup, it has to make you feel more extraordinary, and the female empowerment is emphasized. If we look into the whole year festival campaign or this year, Double 11, you will find the main theme is related to the woman empowerment. For the fragrance perfume brand, create an elevated atmosphere for gifting and self-pampering can be an interesting angle. Also storytelling surrounding by also the premium lifestyle. So we have a case of Armani, which is interesting to share. If I see some audience from China, it's very late for them, but thanks for coming. You can read the Chinese. It is the same as 天生庄家一手好牌. So which 天生庄家 is meaning born as a winner. And the 庄家 apart from meaning the winner, but also has a double meaning as a makeup artist, and with good cards of in hand. So the theme directly make consumer feel, okay, this brand understand me, and this is my value and my attitude. What is the TA insight behind is take control of my own life, be my own master, have power and the good luck. So this is their Double 11 thematic, and they leverage the hero movie. The hero movie is not like so complicated. It's very beautiful, very elegant, very fun, with gifting vibe, but also injected this thematic. Of course, celebrity is one of the key leverage brand is using, and then they have a limited edition product launch, very consistent in terms of visual design and the theme. Then another creative angle we find interesting and super direct is L'Oréal Paris. It basically tell you, I come to give you the gift. So if we look into hero movie, they have a different product line. Each product line is associated with one celebrity. And it's not only talking about the celebrity bring the gift to you, but talking about a time, like when originally in 1948, in 1909, each time when a new product, a new pillar of the brand product are created. So gives you a feeling of the heritage of the brand, but it's not the old way. It's more like a fun, dynamic, young way to talk about the brand, has a history, has heritage and the professionality to bring the gifts, travel from the time until now. To give you the gift during Double 11. So they are answering the core tier insight, which is special treat for myself and for brand rich history and the top-notch products. So if we move forward, Jo Malone is another case which choosing another avenue, another angle. It's more like inspirational. It's talking about the journey to a starry night. So the insight is enjoy the freedom, let the imagination fly, and live the life with the infinity possibilities. So we give you the case of makeup, skincare, and the fragrance, three thematic we found interesting, and the purpose of each brand positioning and the communication angle are very different. It's just for some inspiration you can refer. Either you can go very directly to talk about the pampering gifting offer, or you can go very inspirationally talk about the beautiful story to make a consumer like imagine, or like Armani, it's very straightforward to link with product and the attitude of the life. So the last part we would like to share is win from marketing. We're going to talk about the two topics. Of course, in the marketing sector, you have influencer marketing, you have many, many ways. The most obvious two change we observed this year is about the live streaming and a switch of a talent selection. So let's have a look of the live streaming. Just for you to know, in the live streaming, next slides, in general, we can divide the live streaming into two categories. One category is brand's own live streaming room. It's like, for example, I'm Lancome brand, and I have Lancome live streaming room under my Tmall and Taobao account. Another sector of the live streaming is hosted by the live streamer, the famous one you know, Austin Lee and Weya. So they are generating billions of sales just during one pre-sale. So the role of brand live streaming and live streamers, live streaming are very different. The brand live streaming is more attentive to give customer service, creating the brand atmosphere, and it's part of the brand equity building. However, for the top live streamers live streaming, it's like a TV shopping program. So non-stop of offer, new product introducing. It's more like a shopping for all categories, best offers you can get. And there is a battle in between. And this year, there's some issue between Austin Lee's, Weya's live streaming battle with L'Oréal Paris. And we will have a view to share with you on this topic later. And on the brand's live streaming room, we see an evolution as well. It's not only about introducing the product, but more and more rich content has been built in the live streaming room. Either it's live streaming offline event or interactive game or some TV show program they are building. So it's getting more and more dynamic and experience driven. So back to the topic about the brand live streaming room versus KOL's live streaming room. So in long term, we think brand eventually will more focus on their own live streaming room because they have better control of the price offer and the whole like atmosphere and equity building experience, etc. And we think key focus for brands live streaming should be more on the program flow design or program like creative design. You can treat live streaming not only as a place to sell, but also your best TV show platform. So this is where you can build the identity and the love for the brand in the long term. And also try to give more attentive and elevated service during the live streaming room, not only discount, because in the live streaming room, they will definitely give a best price. So brand, if you want to gain more customer following with you, it's about other way to pampering your client, service, etc. Also some exclusivity in terms of GMV and GWP and membership. Winona, they did the live streaming, collaborating with live talk show celebrities, and it's a program, very fun. It's a way to demonstrate how live streaming can go apart from the product selling. And then on the next slide, Estee Lauder take another approach. So they have the live streaming room with brand ambassador and a friend and the best of friends. When we call the brand friends, also celebrity, but it's a different type or level of celebrity they're working. So basically, they leverage the celebrity to bring the huge traffic, and when the consumer come, they give a very exclusive offers just for this live streaming room. So it brings conversion, big volume plus high conversion, meaning big sales. That's why they are still very strong in Double 11, ranking the number 2. And this strategy apply quite well. Then if we look into the next slides about the switch of talent selection. I'm not sure if you're aware, since the crisis of a top idol, Chris Wu, China put quite a lot of limits for the celebrity. I would say like a idol. You used to listen a word called the fresh meat celebrity, meaning the face is pretty and that they have huge followers. I would say this era is almost moving to the end, and we observe in this Double 11, in terms choice of who to be the ambassador to work with, it's shifting. So brands or consumer, they are more voting for the people who has real talent, such as sports star. And if the sports of whatever Olympics or the Euro Cup, whatever, and it's rising up very fast in terms of search volume. And you can see Chinese swimmer, also the other Olympic swimmer, they are engaged with brand more and more entering this field. So let's have a look of the case of Estee Lauder. Very interestingly, this is the ambassador they are choosing for Double 11 in the past 3 years. So you can find the change. The first year they have Xiao Zhan, which is a celebrity with huge followers in the category of idol. And in the second year, and Hong Yao is the famous actress. But for this year, they didn't work with celebrity. Instead they choose a sport shooter. It's the first Chinese gold medalist of Tokyo 2022 to work with, and they developed the narrative to say advanced night repair, and the Yang Qian is the name of the athlete, and preserve in working hard for years to become champion in their own field. we might think, okay, if you choose a sports star, maybe the traffic's not high compared to the idol, but in reverse, the result is super good. There is 320 million read and more than 1 million of the discussion on Weibo about this collaboration. Same thing, we observe like OLAY, they also choose the gold medalist of Tokyo to work with. And they cut in the angle to talk about the showing woman's beauty of the perseverance and the strength, and the matching OLAY's value to help women seek for their beauty and the desire. So this is pretty much about a few key tips we are thinking to share and give you a brief view of the next chapter. We are not going to dive in today because there's quite a lot of content. You have more than 10 brands deep dive on their key visual, key activation. So each slides, for example, in the Lancome, the slides, you will find on the left side, we place the hero assets they are putting, whatever is video or KV, and the key claim. On the right side, we summarize the key activation, the marketing highlights about the Double 11. So you have this format for more than 10 brands to go further. I would like to open for the last 10 minutes to do some Q&A.
So about the Q&A, Danny, we had a lot of questions in the chat. And people seems to be very focused on the live stream topics, especially the different key channels for live stream. Tmall versus WeChat versus Douyin versus Kuaishou. So basically what I was saying is during key festivals, Tmall would be the channel to prioritize. And you do the big collaborations with the KOL, the celebrities, influencers, because this is where most of the conversion will be happening. Then Danny, perhaps you want to elaborate more on the WeChat occasions, Douyin occasions, and people also had some questions about the conversion of those platforms as well. So perhaps you want to elaborate on these.
Yeah. Actually, nowadays you can live streaming everywhere. It's like that's why there is so many platforms popping up. A brand is facing choices of Tmall or WeChat or Douyin. So basically, on Tmall, it's consumer come to Tmall. They have the mind of looking for the best deal with the Double 11, with the offers. That's why the type of content many times on Tmall is more related to the festival marketing, related to what you can offer, or even you do a show, do innovative content, but also around this kind of festival season. However, on WeChat live streaming, okay, there is another big difference is on Tmall, it's more open platform. It's more easy for consumer to find your live streaming is on. It's more search friendly. On WeChat live streaming, it's more exclusive. Like you gonna make much more effort in terms of marketing your live streaming program to a wider audience on WeChat. However, WeChat now, because WeChat, your followers are the ones who normally follow your brand official accounts, and the affinity is higher. They are more easy to digest the heavier content, product educational content, more different content rather than just the sales oriented content. So many brands, they take WeChat live streaming to do the new product launch, new event, rather than something related to the promotion. But on Tmall, a lot of practice we see is on the product sales. And on Douyin live streaming, one thing is now, if you do Douyin live streaming, the sales landing has to be within Douyin. So you cannot bring your live streaming on Douyin and the traffic go to Tmall to buy. It's forbidden. It should be within the Douyin platform. So many brands, they are hesitating because if they don't have Douyin store, they have nowhere to convert. That's why it's not only about where you're live streaming, but also about the full ecosystem. Eventually, you make effort of the content to promote. You want to have them have a higher conversion rate. So still, from what we observe, The Tmall has good conversion. Very simple, because people go there they want to buy. They already prepare the money to look for the deal, so the conversion is quite high.
Another question we had was regarding gifting GWP. The inputs for luxury promotions that we may have, what converts, the sample, the gifts, or the best practice.
You mean like what converts more samples or gifts?
I think
Which type of?
I think the question was that we highlighted the offer, how to create excitement, but I
Yes,
think the
yeah.
question here is more about the generosity, the GWPs, and how to create value out of the products. Sorry, out of the offer.
Yeah. We observe a few offer strategy between different brands.
So I
Normally,
think
if consumer, for
another
example, let's
part of
take
the
example of
question that you somehow.
Genifique, Lancome Genifique. If a consumer want to buy Genifique, it's better you offer a smaller size example of Genifique instead of offer a foundation, because they will feel it's more directly benefit from what they want to buy. And if you compare of a GWP or you're giving more examples, depending on the brands, I would say if it's Elena Rubinstein or La Mer, consumer will be more prefer to getting extra volumes of sample on the products. So each millimeter of the price of buying is cheaper because the product really values a lot. Then for other brands, depending on maybe makeup brands, it's a way to go better with other GWP, like accessory around the makeup, etc. Depending on the category and the brand power and like what consumers looking for your brand to design this kind of offer. And what else? We chat related to the brand.
Partly replied, it's for the high end and the very premium brands, how to maintain the brand image without being perceived too aggressive with the sampling and but I mean this is where it's more interesting to do to work on the value of the offer rather than slashing prices essentially.
Yes. Also, the market is a pretty spoiled, I would say, when all the luxury brand are giving this kind of generosity of offer. If you don't give, it doesn't mean you are more high end. It consumer just might will think, okay, the brand is not friendly, and instead, if everybody's doing that, you're not decreasing the brand image on that because the standard is already set it. Expectations there. However, there is a way to keep the preeminence of the brand through all the shopping experience, from the moment they look your product information to adding the shopping cart to how they get the product packaging, the service, or the CIM journey can bring a very good brand experience through that way. Also the visual, yeah, if a luxury brand normally doesn't want to very obviously to put a pack shot plus sample like a promotion information. I think it's we cannot avoid to offer more value for China market, and because if you don't offer, your competitor will offer, and they will take your clients. And it's a way like to work on other things like service, etc., to improve the brand feeling. Yes, I see the sampling strategy. I would say for luxury brand, depending for the fragrance, it's quite necessary, I feel, because fragrance is a sector less impulsive. Like for the skincare, you see a benefit, you see a live streamer showing you how benefit it is, you will buy, you click and buy. For the fragrance, even it's in live streaming room online, you cannot actually smell it. You have to really go and experience it, and that's why the fragrance we found it's quite necessary to do some sampling. However, it's not the free sampling for everybody. You can set certain criteria to to do some recruitment of their data information, etc. Or even they need to register online and go to offline to get a sample. You have the mechanism to filter your audience and give a more qualified sampling for those.
Yes, and also Sean brought up the unexpected issues with L'Oreal and Austin Lee and Fresh, etc. So, I mean, this basically translates that the consumers, especially younger ones like Gen Z, are really seeking after authenticity in the in what they
Yes.
consume, and authenticity on the brand values, but also on the brand offers. So as soon as you have a brand essentially not disclosing the real value or being how can I say not being fully transparent about their price creams, then you need to be extremely careful about that types of things. People are very educated. People are know how to compare from one website to another, and you're going to be subject to a lot of backlash. So this is definitely something you need to pay attention to, and definitely try to avoid this kind of practices.
Yeah, also, like I mentioned, the why people are going to Austin Lee and Weiya's live streaming is because actually they are not live streamer. They are like a biggest distributor, and they have huge traffic. People go there live streaming because they know they can get the best price, and this is something the Austin Lee want to protect. If they lose this line, they're gonna lose their business. So for them, the principle is you come to my live streaming room, you get the best price, and the consumer they can generate big sales. That's why we sense a little bit tension between the live streamer and the brand. Of course, they will collaborate, but the brand for sure will work on more and more based on their own to be more independent, to build their live streaming offer, to give more different experience in that live streaming room. That's why we say if we observe the trend in the future, brand gonna focus on their own live streaming room, build it as a full experience channel. Yeah, I think we are almost to the end. It's a very fruitful hour.
Yes, if there is any last questions, feel free. If not, again, we encourage you to click on the handout tabs, download the presentation, and reach
Yeah,
out to us by email or anything to if you want to know more.
sure. Okay. Um, if if anything you need, we're gonna share our deck with you, and we can arrange maybe private session, one-on-one session with you if you have further question. No worries, just write us email, and we are very happy to have all of you here. Thanks a lot, and we're gonna sharing more in our upcoming webinars. Okay. Have a good evening. Have a good night, Pierre.
Have a good night. Have a good day. For the people in New York, have a great morning, and we'll see you in the next edition of our webinars. Thanks again all for tuning up.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.